Hey, this is Steve from 200 Stab Wounds. You're listening to Vulgar Display a podcast. Check it out or go fuck yourself.
Hi, and welcome to the Vulgar Display a podcast live from the Barn Studio. You got the Mox, Anthony, and Dale here. We're joined online with a pretty much a death metal legend at this point, I think. Steve from 200 Stab Wounds. Steve, how are you, man?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. You were actually, we were just talking off air. You were one of our first interviews when we first launched this podcast. We actually did it in person down in Memphis at Growlers when you were opening for Soulfly. So welcome back to the Vulgar Display podcast. We love 200 Stab Wounds. We champion you guys as much as we can, and we're really excited for this new record. So thanks for coming back on, man.
Cool. Thanks for having me back, dude. Stoked for it.
Fuck yeah.
You were actually the guys here. I didn't get a chance to. I was at a retirement party for my mom, but the guys here actually caught you guys the other night in St. Louis with opening for Dying Fetus. So how was that tour? I know you're just recently back from that tour. How was the tour?
Oh, it was great. It was definitely, I mean, as far as we're concerned, one of the best tours we've ever done. And you know, not even just with the shows, because all the shows were great too. But, you know, every tour we do, I mean, we're lucky for it. All the shows are always pretty amazing. But it was just good for us as far as, you know, every single person on the tour, all the crew, all the bands, everybody around was super nice. It was easy. I couldn't even think of one asshole on that tour, you know, and usually on every tour you get one or two, you know, and on the last night we were like, well, I can't, because we haven't done a 5-week tour in a while, you know. So on the last night after we got done with the show in Nashville, we were like, that's crazy because it flew by because we were all having such a good time. And we were trying to think of one asshole we met on that tour and we couldn't even think of one. So it was definitely one of our favorite tours we've ever done because it was just so easy. And so, you know, everyone took care of each other and everyone was super accommodating and there was no bullshit like you get on some tours. So it was really great. We enjoyed it. And we're kind of sad that it's over, actually.
When you tour with a band like Dying Fetus, who are legends, right? And they're just known for their work ethic. They're known for their just the tightness when they play and just road dogs for so many years, even decades at this point. Do you take away something? Do you feel like your band is better after touring with a band like that? Yeah,
big time. And I mean, you know, it's funny because we were talking about this a couple days ago. So I was trying to get a new cabinet for my rig, you know, and I was on the search for this very specific cabinet, and I ended up getting the wrong one, and I sounded like fucking shit, and I was bitching to everyone on the tour about it. I'm going on and on about it. I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking mad, like blah blah blah. And we were talking to their tour manager Reese, and he's like, yeah, dude, you know, you can, a band like Dying Fetus, you can literally give them the shittiest gear possible. You can give them anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what speakers. Doesn't matter what guitars. What gear they're using. You can plug them in. They're going to sound like Dying Fetus. That's just the type of band they are. That's how tight they are, you know. And yeah, so it definitely makes us better because, you know, we strive to be that. But it's a little different because, you know, we're not playing anything as technical as that or as really kind of insane as that. We're just more groove oriented, you know. There's parts of that in our music, kind of, not to the extent of what they're doing, but yeah, I mean, every time we do a tour with a band like that, and especially this one, because of how technical they are, it definitely makes us want to step our game up a little bit. And, you know, it's like with every, you know, when you tour with a band like that, it makes everyone in the band want to step their game up, you know, because there'll be tours we do where it's like, I'll see a front man, you know, when we did the tour with Soulfly, I'm like, okay, well, I'm watching Max play and I'm like, oh, he's been doing this shit for longer than I've been alive. Okay, I got to step it up a little bit.
Yep.
But, you know, Dying Fetus was one of those bands where everybody in the band was like, we gotta really step it up on days that we're really not feeling motivated, or, even when we're at home, knowing we have to practice every day. And even if it's for just an hour, a day practicing our instruments and shit, just get tight at it. Dying Fetus is like the perfect example of that, because you can tell from the first song that they don't fuck around. They're actually super serious and super tight and super knowledgeable about their instruments.
Steve, I noticed a kind of a change between the time we saw you guys with Soulfly and obviously last Friday. When we saw you at Soulfly, you had your microphone down lower and you kept your head down. But I noticed that on the show on Friday that your microphone stand was propped up more and you were looking more into the crowd. Was that a deliberate change? Was that something that somebody suggested to you, or is that just natural?
Well, it was just like a natural thing, really. But I mean, now that I think about it now, I think I used to do that, the whole microphone being low thing, and like no one being able to see my face, because I don't know, I was like scared shitless of singing in a band. I was just nervous, and I think at the time I didn't look at it like that. I just kind of, I think the way I was looking at it was, well, if I'm already nervous going on stage, which I still get nervous to this day, I get really nervous before a show. But back then it was like really foreign to me to sing in a band, let alone play guitar and sing. So looking back on it now, I think it was just like a nerve thing. I didn't want anyone really looking at me. I didn't want to look at anybody. It's like a stage fright thing, and then if no one can see my face, I can focus more on what the fuck I'm doing. And if I can't see their face, I can't tell if they fucking hate us or not. So it's just lets me get through the show. Yeah. But now, now we've done so many shows and so many tours and so many different crowds and sizes of crowds that it's just a confidence thing. Like, I'm definitely more confident in what I'm doing and what the band is doing as a whole. So now I don't really care about that. Like I said, I still get nervous before a show, but it's not more so about if people like us or not, because I really don't give a shit about that, because I know we're good. But yeah, I guess looking back on it now, it's just a nerve thing and a confidence thing.
So speaking of the tour with Dying Fetus and how great they are, and you said they like raise the bar for everybody, how tight they are and everything, and so serious they are. Chad and I saw you a few months ago with Gore, who they're obviously they're great, talented dudes, but the polar opposites
Yeah.
From Gore to Dying Fetus. What was it like to be on the road with those nutty motherfuckers?
It was cool. I mean, that tour was weird for us because so if you go back and look at the flyer, we had on that Guar run, we had like 4 or 5 different tours all on the same time frame. So we would go from the Guar tour to fucking do like 5 headline dates with like opener bands, and then we would go from that to go on the Black Dahlia tour. So it was like, it was cool. Like the Guar portion of it was really cool. It was just we didn't really have time to like settle down and become really tight knit with those dudes. I mean, we became cool with them, but when you're on tour, you don't really get super tight with everybody until at least a weekend. And I don't think that Guar tour was even a week long,
Yeah, right.
So, but I mean, they're super nice though. They're cool. The crew's cool. Just really friendly, But yeah, that tour was a little weird for us because we were just with different people and different bands, almost every week. And I think that was like a 4 or 5 week run. So,
right.
But yeah, the Guar dudes were cool. And yeah, and going back to the thing you said about, being polar opposite. I mean, we were definitely the oddballs out on that tour.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure there was almost like a rock type band on that tour. I think they were called Crowbot.
Crowbot.
Yeah. If it was Crowbar, that'd be fucking sick.
You're right.
But yeah, no, I mean, we were definitely the oddballs out, and like that's kind of what we were worried about. We were like, well, fuck. I mean, are these people even gonna? Because obviously we're gonna draw our own crowd,
Right.
But
like when we
the
saw
vast majority. But the vast majority is the crowd that's there for Guar, So we were really worried about it, but it ended up being really good for us. And a lot of people discovered us from that tour. So it was really cool. And the Guar dudes like our band too, which is not surprising because I know they're metal fans, but
right.
I didn't know that they would like us in particular. So that was cool. It was a good tour.
Yeah, good deal. Good times.
Yeah, and I like mixed bills like that. Like when we saw that announcement, it was like, holy shit. Not that I'm a Crowbot fan, but rock and roll, yeah, whatever. But love Guar and seeing you guys on that. How did that even happen? Was that all tour booking and agents and things like that, or do the artists have any kind of say in who the opener is?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're headlining, for sure, because I mean we're getting ready to announce a headline, which I don't know if I should say that, but I don't really care. But yeah, we're getting ready to announce a headline tour here soon. And yeah, I mean, we had to say, I mean, obviously, you know, managers and booking agents are always going to have their finger in the pot a little bit with, you know, who what would be like a good business thing, you know? And obviously, if it was up to us, we just want to bring out our friends and people, you know, bands we like, but maybe sometimes that's not always a good business decision, you know, which is something we're learning. So, but I'm pretty sure with the Guar thing, I'm pretty sure we got an offer for it. So I don't know if that was the band or if that was a management thing. Cause I know one of the dudes in Guar was already a fan of us prior. So I don't know if it was a situation where he had kind of thrown that out there to management or if management threw it out to them. It was like, hey, this is a good, you know, this band's doing shit. You know, they draw their own crowd. It'd be a good, it would definitely bring something to the table to have them on the tour. So I don't know what it was, but I just remember getting an offer for it. And we were like, well, fuck yeah.
Is there a band out there that you haven't toured with that you want to? Like you've toured with Cannibal Corpse and Legend, you know, Dying Fetus, and even your homies in like Sangasigabog. Is there a band that you haven't toured with yet that you want to?
Oh yeah, there's a ton. I mean, for a while there, because we played Toronto last year, and that's where our booking agent's from. And he came out to the show, and we were talking. And you know, sometimes it gets annoying doing support tours because it's just like, you know, we've been touring nonstop for so long. Well, not so long, but you know, 4 years nonstop is a pretty long time, I think. You know, so sometimes it just gets annoying not really having the option to have things exactly how you want it, or you know, just shit like that. So I was talking to him, and I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, we need to do a fucking headliner here soon, right? We need to do a headliner. I'm done with these support tours. And he's like, yeah, I fully agree. Fast forward a couple months, like I'm pretty much up until now, I had this thought in my head where I was like, well, we pretty much toured with everyone that I want to tour with. We toured with Obituary. We done the Cannibal thing. We done Guar. We done Dying Fetus now. We did Soulfly. There's not really, I mean, obviously there's a bunch. There's like, we could do Suffocation. That'd be awesome. We could do Cryptopsy. That'd be awesome. You know, but I just got like a bunch in my head that I think would be really good for us. Like if we toured with Exodus, that'd be fucking awesome. And Gary actually likes our band too. So that's something that's actually a very good possibility.
That's a
you know, I think something like
Yeah.
yeah.
That could be
I think something like Slipknot. I think something like Slipknot would be cool too, even though it's a little bit out of the realm of what we do. Kind of, I guess it's kind of the same, kind of different. It's both heavy shit. I think Slipknot would be cool. You know, I mean, and even doing like a full tour with Cannibal Corpse, because the tour we did with them was, I think it was only 6 or 7 days or something like that. So I mean, there's really a bunch. You know, there's really a bunch. So, I mean, my thing is we're down to do it as long as it makes sense, you know. I mean, we do tours sometimes with, I'm not going to name any names, but you know, we'll do. I'll just put it like this, right? We've done a support tour. I'm not going to name any names where it was a shit show and it was miserable, right? So as long as we can go on tour with a band and we can enjoy ourselves and it won't be ego fest, then I'm down to do it.
For sure.
But yes, there's a bunch of bands that I would still like to do things with. But I think definitely with our record coming out and, you know, the fact that our fans have never really got to see us in a proper headline setting, I think we should focus on the headline thing for a while. And then, you know, if the offer comes along to do something sick with a band that wants to take us out, we're always down for that. We're always down for that. We just want to have a good time and not be miserable, you know.
Oh, for sure.
That's why we enjoyed the Dying Fetus thing so much, because they treated us like gold.
Yeah.
So I'll never speak higher of them. They're amazing.
And we're going to need that name once we get off air here. That shitty tour.
I got you.
Awesome. But yeah, Steve, your fans definitely want that headlining tour. You know, I was super excited. You know, I was really bummed I couldn't go to Gore, but I was super excited about this one because I knew you guys were, you know, right before Dying Fetus. So I knew, fuck yeah, I'm going to get like at least a 9-10 song set out of it. So I was super stoked about that and seeing you guys.
Yes, damn right.
Yeah. That was the thing too. Is, you know, I think in St. Louis, Full of Hell wasn't on that bill, right?
No, they weren't.
Mm-mm.
It was
So we got a long
Psycho Frame, Cruelty, you guys, and then Dying.
Yeah. So yeah, when Full of Hell jumped off, we took the direct support spot and we we ended up getting a longer bill. So that was actually awesome for us.
It was.
And the fans, I'm sure, too.
It was for us too.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Kind of hinted around about it, but June 28th on Metal Blade Records, Manual Manic Procedures, your publicist, Earsplit Media, or Earsplit publicist, sent us an advanced copy of the record. Fully in love with this. Notice you kind of mentioned that there's, we're kind of noticed that there's a little bit more lead playing on this. There's some clean guitars, some things that were not maybe people that are used to a certain sound with 200 stab wounds. You guys, I think, ventured out a little bit and started to explore some different sounds and some, different things on this record. Is that a fair statement?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, and I think a big thing that has to do with that is, it sounds kind of weird, but I think a big thing has to do with that is the fact of us playing live so much, because, even when, we've always been into the same stuff, even since we started this band and prior to that, like our other bands and all that stuff. But, after playing the same fucking songs and the same style of songs, and even though like the new record is the same style of what we've always been doing, but I just think it's a little bit more mature, I think that's something that comes from us playing live and maybe us wanting to venture out a little bit in the live setting, that's where like the acoustic guitars come from and kind of, I guess you could say more of like the verse, chorus, verse type thing, which we've never done before, ever, maybe on like one song, but we're more like a riff salad type band, which some people don't like, but I always thought it was awesome, just never repeating riffs, no repeat riffs. But yeah, that kind of started as far as like repeating riffs. I kind of started when we recorded with Mark Lewis on that Masters of Morbidity 7-inch that we did, because we had brought those songs into the studio with him, and like the way that we had it, it was more riff salad, and then he was the one that kind of suggested, hey, why don't we, this part would go really good with this part, but the part you have there is also really good, so why don't we just rearrange things a little bit, bring this back, and then kind of mold all those together to make it more of a song instead of just a song with not a whole lot of structure. You know what I mean? Even though our songs do have structure, but not structure in that sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely fair to say that we stepped outside the box a little bit with this one, but that's definitely something we're going to try to continue to do, but still keep those same elements in our music for sure, because we enjoy it, but we definitely want to do some more, melodic things, and maybe even go into like kind of what Death or like what Metallica did sometimes, going into like classical shit in some sections, that'd be cool for us to do, especially now that we have Ray, because Ray, and it kind of sucks because he didn't have any say in the new record that's coming out. But Ray is a fucking insane guitar player. And it sucks because he can't showcase it live because we don't have any songs where he solos, because he just joined the band after we recorded the record. And he like knows like all about like classical playing and all that bullshit. So it kind of sucks, but for the next record, it'll definitely have some of that stuff in there. It's definitely something we want to continue to do because, with the way I write and with the way Ray writes, it's just going to be insane, I think.
Hell of a skullet on that guy as well, right?
Yeah. Rep.
Yeah, dude, he was going to shave his head, and I told him, I was like, no, dude, you got to fucking
let it rip.
When he joined the band, this is going to sound so fucked up, but when he joined the band, my only concern was, and he's going to be mad at me for this, but I don't really care.
Good.
When he joined the band, I was talking with the other guys. I'm like, well, he doesn't have hair. What the fuck are we going to do about that? But then I was like, okay, well, Kerry King's bald and fucking no one cares about that shit. So when he joined the band, it's just kind of something we accepted. But I told him, I was like, dude, you got to grow the skullet out. You got to go full blood incantation mode with this. You got to get the skullet. You got to fucking just own that shit. And people love it.
Yeah.
So, and not that I'm all about what do you call it? Like visual presentation. I mean, I definitely am, but it's not like the biggest deal, but it was just something that was in the back of my mind. But yeah, people love Ray. He's like the chillest guy on stage, but it's like menacing almost, you know?
Speaking of a visual presentation, it's nice to see that this album cover is super chill, very pretty, super
very PG.
Very, yes, keeping it PG.
Tell us about the artwork because it is
amazing.
It's sick.
It's sick as fuck.
Yeah, well, I don't know his real name. I know the artist's name. His name's Filth Effigy, and I mean, there's not really any story behind the artwork. Honestly, it just kind of goes with the title. You know, it's just medical procedure, and it went with the name Manual Manic Procedures. You know, there's not really a big like storyline behind it. It just kind of fit what was going on. But as far as how it was made, you know, we kind of just gave him the idea, and we told him, you know, we're really interested in maybe going like the carcass route, like kind of like the collage style, ransom note style vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think how he did it was he took a photo of himself, right? So I think the guy on the table, I might be fucking this up, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was done. The guy on the table is Filth Effigy. That's him. He took a photo of himself, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure he fucking painted over himself. And then if you really look at it, you can see like where the paint is and then where like the collage pieces are. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So it's like a mixture of photograph, painting, and collage, like copy and paste style stuff.
Like a mixed medium art kind of thing. Right?
Yeah. I think it's fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I think it's awesome.
I guess if you're gonna
and
it should be yourself.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dissect myself.
Yeah. I mean, he knocked it. I mean, my only concern was about this was it was retailing shit, right? Like
Yeah.
are people going to give a shit about, you know, being able to put it in stores, and are we going to have an alternate cover? Which the only place we've had that issue so far is, shockingly, not really at all, Germany. So the only place we had to come up with an alternate cover for it was in Germany, and it's not like we have to change the cover completely. We just have to have like a slip cover over it so it can go in stores. But I mean, to my knowledge, we haven't had any other issues with any other countries or whatever. So I think that's the only one. So far so good, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's dope.
I'd say this is a collector's dream, because if I'm reading this right, you're going to have like six or seven different variants of the vinyl. And does that include artwork?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. What do you mean as far as artwork? Like different covers for the artwork, or
like the vinyl actually looks different, the different variants.
Yeah. I think there's like 6 or 7 different colorways for what Metal Blade's doing, and then I'm pretty sure that there's maybe like 6 or 7 colorways for what Evil Greed's doing in Europe, I think. And I know Metal Blade, and that's where it gets confusing for me, because I'm not really sure, because I know Metal Blade they have offices everywhere. They have it in Europe. They have it in fucking all these different places. So I don't know if the European variants are being printed by Metal Blade and then being distributed through Evil Greed. I don't know how that works really, but I know there's 7 different variants for the States, and then I think 6 or 7 different variants for Europe, and then so on and so forth for the UK and shit. So I'm just not sure how all the distribution works. I don't really get into all that, but yeah, definitely a collector's wet dream for sure.
For sure. And I say staying true to the death metal, aesthetic,
Absolutely.
right? Because
Yeah.
you expect a certain thing from your death metal. And,
Absolutely.
and one of the things I love that this new record goes outside the box, but I also love that you guys are just okay with meathead riff here and there and just be as blatant about it as possible. And that's one of the things I think, why I'm such a fan, why we're such a fan, and you're just transparently you. Like, even I would even say this, kind of talking about visuals on stage and stuff, like you're known for taking off your shirt and playing.
Yeah.
Right. Like
shred.
This
is me.
Yeah.
I only do that sometimes when I feel like I'm about to fucking pass out at a show. Like, dude, I don't remember if I did it in St. Louis, but there was a whole string of shows right before that show that it was so fucking hot in these venues. And it's crazy because we would show up at sound check and the venue would be well tempered. It feels good in there, and then as soon as you pack it out, it's like the AC unit was fucking repoed from the building. Yeah. So I mean, by the time we get to the middle of the set, I'm like, oh, I don't want to pass out on stage and have fucking my corpse dragged off the stage, so I'm just gonna take the shirt off. Maybe it'll help. I used to do it just for fun, but then my grandpa got all mad at me. He's like, that's not professional. So I put it back on and fucking
can't upset the grandpa.
Nope.
Yeah. So
I see some of the.
But I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll do it though. Like if we play like a like a fucking small like dive place, I'll take that shit off. I don't care. But if it's in like a legit venue, you know, I want to like I kind of want to look legit, I guess. I don't know. I get weird about that type of shit, about like presentations and all that shit. I don't know if other people are like that, but I'm very much so like that. But sometimes I just don't give a shit, and I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah, love it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we got a chance to tell you this when we actually saw you down in Memphis. We actually got out of there after your set. We caught all your set, but there's a little bit of an issue with the pit. I don't know if you heard anything about it or not. They ended up finding like a gun and a clip in the middle of the pit. Did you hear anything
during
about
our set?
It was
Right.
there.
Yeah. No, Soulfly was like a couple songs in, and we were in the pit, me and our buddy McVeigh that came down with us, and he grabs my arm from the pit and pulls me out. He's like, bro, we got to fucking go. I was like, why, dude? It's Soulfly. He's like, trust me, we got to go. Their bouncer was holding the fucking clip, looked at it, saw what it was, and then just shoved it behind the desk like it was nothing. We're like, okay, yeah, we better go ahead and get out of here.
Somebody came prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to make
I don't
200 stab wounds, 1 gun wound.
Yeah, I don't understand why. And you know, it's like people could look at this like a whole bunch of different ways, but I don't understand why, you know, especially after, you know, the dime bag thing. I don't understand why venues, big or small, short or tall, I don't understand why venues wouldn't do proper security. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm not.
Because that's exactly what.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with that situation. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm not saying anyone like did that intentionally. You know what I mean? But it's like you don't fucking know what people are gonna do, and I don't really want to go play a show where people are fucking just carrying guns in there. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I'm all about like I don't want to get into that really actually, but I just think it's as far as like large gatherings and stuff like that, like I get it. It's good to, you know, want to protect yourself and stuff, but it's just sketchy for the musician, I guess. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Because of that situation in particular. It's like always a scary thought, a possibility, you know? So I don't understand why venues wouldn't do that, you know, or make it like a thing. I don't know. Very weird, very odd to me.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to make light of an unsafe situation, especially for you guys, because you're right. You guys are the most vulnerable in that point. But just our perspective of that night, which was such a great night, and getting to hang out with you guys and talk to you guys, and then we're big Max fans, so we were all about that. And it was like the reality of like, oh, maybe we should go.
Yeah,
maybe we should.
Yeah,
go.
well, I mean, I think with that situation, if anyone was intending to use it in like a malicious way, I guess it would have happened. But yeah, I think they would have done it. But you know, it was on the ground. I don't know. That's a weird situation. I didn't hear anything about that till just now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I brought it up. I didn't know if you had or not. And again, that was just our perspective of a wild and crazy night.
Mm-hmm.
Got Steve here from 200 Stab Wounds. This is the Vulgar Display a podcast. New record comes out June 28th on Metal Blade Records. Manual Manic Procedures. When you see this record cover, you're going to understand why we've been talking about it so much. Digging this record, man. Love you guys so much. And looking forward to that announcement of that headliner. And hopefully it gets in the Midwest. And we're going to catch you when you come into town or near town. I promise you that.
Yes, sir.
We will.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, dudes. Thanks for having me back on.
Thanks for coming back, brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
See you guys soon.